Welcome to the Soul Elevation Podcast, guiding your ascension to new heights. I'm your host, Kara Goodwin, and I'm so excited to be here with you today on Monday, June 2nd. I want to talk today about the solar activity. So, like I said, it's only June 2nd, but June 2025 has been predicted to be a really powerful time with the solar activity. And I tip my hat to Sandra Walter, who is a beautiful ascension guide. I like to get her insights through her newsletter. It's a great newsletter. If you aren't tuned into that, you may enjoy receiving her newsletter, but I will give her credit. She's been saying for I think the whole of 2025, at least as far as I can remember, that June there was going to be a lot of solar activity, a lot of solar changes. And June 1st happened, and it was like, bam, my notifications on my phone through what is the app that I use? Oh gosh, solar. Oh, I can't remember the name of the app, but there's an app. I'll try to remember to put the app in the show notes because it's really helpful. I think it's called like Skyweather. Maybe it's Skyweather app, but you can turn on notifications so that anytime the solar flares go to above a certain threshold or the KP index, which is the geomagnetic activity on the earth, you get notifications. And it's like June 1st happened and the notifications started going wild. So there's been a lot of solar flare and geomagnetic activity that has been happening. Now, the this activity, there are a lot of ways to look at it. So you want to be careful if you're new to this topic and you start exploring it, there are a lot of people who are taking really extreme views and they're kind of utilizing and kind of hooking people with fear. So they're really using the, the worst case scenario, and they're inducing a lot of fear in people. That brings in a lot of viewers and a lot of followers for people, but it's not good for your nervous system. And there are a lot of potential timelines. So if you understand yourself as a powerful creator being, which is the truth of who you really are, then understand that the content that you feed yourself, it feeds your psyche, it feeds your unconscious, and that is then kind of where you're casting your vote with your consciousness, because that is where your attention is going. That's kind of the future state that you are pulling in, whether you mean to or not. And you probably don't mean to, because you're probably just wanting to be informed so that you can make the best decisions for you and your family. But you need to be diligent about owning your intake, your content intake, so that you're not continuously feeding yourself this fear narrative of a dystopian society that happens because you're trying to stay aware. That's the more you feed yourself that, the more your consciousness fills with it, and the more you magnetize that. So I'm going to go back to talking about this in a second, but this all relates to that new earth meditation that I created last month or a few weeks ago. I'll try to remember also to put the link to that meditation in the show notes, because that gives you a chance to really get into stillness, really get into the future that is beneficial for you, really getting you feeling into a top tier potential for humanity, a top tier timeline where we have clean skies, we have clean water, we have fresh air, we have abundant, pure food that is, in balance with nature. All of those things that we desire, instead of fighting against what we don't want, we're magnetizing to us what we do want. So I definitely encourage you to be diligent, own your consciousness, own your thoughts, and own yourself as a creator being so that you can be part of pulling in what is helpful for us. Now, that being said, there is the possibility with solar flares and with the weakening geomagnetic activity that it does impact our energy grids. So it's something to be aware of. And I have been hearing these narratives for a long time about the grid system going down and growing your own food and really stockpiling. And I've never really heeded that advice. I haven't stockpiled. I haven't gone, I don't have like a reserve in my, shelf stable food right now in my home. However, the intuitive hits that I personally am getting are go and get some shelf stable food, get some jugs of water. I don't foresee, and there are all kinds of timelines still. So just because I am getting the nudge internally to take a little bit more precaution right now, that doesn't mean that that's the timeline that's necessarily going to play out. It just means that there's a potential there, and it would be wise to just take that extra precautionary step just to kind of see us through this solar activity. So it's something that you may want to consider also. And again, we're not doing this from a place of fear. It's just a holding space of let's just make sure that we've got some cushion here just in case the power went out for a few days so that you've got that cushion, nobody's panicking, and we ride this out. It's just that cushion. So um, fresh water, getting some jugs of water, getting some canned food, making sure that your can opener is manual and it's not dependent because I have an electric can opener, but I also have a manual one. I almost got rid of my manual one the other day, so I'm just mentioning that because luckily I thought better of it, but I love my electric can opener. So I was like, oh, I don't really need this one in my drawer anymore, this manual one. So, you want to be sure that you can open that food and just having it on hand. And things are going to normalize again, things are going to slow down with the geomagnetic activity. But just to give yourself, think about your pets too. If you have pets, making sure that you just have a little extra on hand for them. I also, I'm the type of person that when I drive my car, I tend to only fill up my car when it needs it. But I also got the hit of just like, hey, go fill up your tank. You still have a quarter of a tank left, but go fill it up. And just kind of be a little bit more on top of it than normal. So, but we have some amazing consciousness opportunities with this solar activity. So, I really feel that that's the whole point of like from a cosmic big picture perspective, the whole reason that there is this amplified activity is that we receive light codes when the sun has this heightened activity. It is actually sending bursts of intelligence, encoded light intelligence. So from a consciousness perspective, we receive so much from this activity. You've got the weakening of the magnetosphere of the planet, which means that we get more solar radiation because we have less of that kind of reflective, deflective, um, protective barrier around the planet, which means that more of that cosmic light comes into our field. So this can, I mean, it's not always like 100% pleasant. I personally have been having a lot of low grade headaches. I know other people in my family and in my world are having headaches and things like that. There can be a number of reasons that that happens, but I don't suffer from headaches very often, and I'm just making note. Okay, we've got a lot of increased solar and planetary activity, and my head hurts. Feeling tired, Feeling anxious. That's another one that I know a lot of people are feeling where they're just like, why am I nervous? What am I anticipating? And it's like they're trying to remember what it is they're forgetting because they're feeling this nervous energy. Um, you can have physical symptoms too of, I'm feeling sinus pressure in addition to the headaches. So there are a lot of ways that this can manifest where your body is just trying to find some balance. It's receiving new energy. Your body, you as a being, you are an energy being. So when you're experiencing new energy, it's like your body is resonating with it and trying to equalize with it. And so it's just a very natural process. Your body is doing what it can, just support it. Be sure you're drinking plenty of water, staying hydrated, avoid alcohol right now if you can. Um, Nourish yourself, eat your plants, eat fruits and vegetables, drink, cold pressed juices if you can. There are, just nourish yourself. Try to be mindful about your intake and get out in the sun. I love going out and sitting in the morning sun. I think I'll do a separate live on kind of how I feel that I'm drinking in the light. That's a simple process of drinking the light, but I'll save that for another time. But for now, just go out, be in the direct sunlight, close your eyes, and just let yourself be. Get your feet on the land, get your bare feet on the ground. And that helps a lot if you've got that nervous energy. Go put your bare feet on the land. Get your hands down on the earth. If it's too cold where you are, maybe, you don't feel that it's wise to go out without your shoes on if it's really cold, but you can put both hands down on the ground, or hug a tree. I know that that might sound silly, but the trees have such a grounding effect on us and they really help our nervous systems. So there are lots of ways that you can support yourself in this time. Take an Epsom salt bath. That's another, using water, get in a natural body of water if you have access to that. That's another beautiful way to support yourself. So I hope that this is helpful. More than anything, just stay empowered, your stay in your consciousness and allow yourself to take the steps that you feel that you need to take to be in the best place, and take, stay in control of your own consciousness. Continue pulling forward the highest timeline for the greatest good for you and your family and for humanity. So I will leave you with that and my blessings. Have a beautiful day, week, month, life, and I'll see you next time.